Hello everyone, in this video we'll learn about the second algorithm of association analysis, that is the FP growth analysis. To overcome the shortcomings of a priori algorithm, we use FP growth algorithm, that is frequent pattern growth algorithm. Since a priori algorithm scans database each iteration, so we use FP growth to make the scanning less, that is only twice. So that it can save our time. Likewise, a priori gets expensive on large data sets, so we use FP growth algorithm to make it cheaper. Here we are given this data set with transaction ID and the items bought by the customers with different transaction ID. We are finding the associations between the items bought by the customers with different transaction ID. The outcome of this algorithm is to find the frequent association through the items bought. Now for that, let's create a table. Let's name it as table 1, and then table 1, and then in table 1, and then we enlist all the items bought with their support count, and then it will be items here and then with their support count here, and then let's see the items here. Okay, the items will be I1, I2, I3, I4, and then I5, and then the support count for each I have to count and write the support count. I1 1 2 3 4 5 6, there is 6. I2 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. I3 1 2 3 4 5, and then 5 6, and then I4 1 2, just 2, and I5 it's 1 and 2. This way, here we write the items with their support count. Now since we are not given any minimum support, let's continue with this data. Now in the next table, what we have to do is we have to arrange the items in the descending order of their support count. This is in the descending order of their support count. I'll just make the table here. Let's make it table 2 here. This will be table 2, and then items, and then support count, and then support count, this way. Okay, now the items here will be, now we have to arrange the items in the descending order of their support count. That is, the items with the highest support count is I2, so I2 will be at the top, and I1 and I3 have the same support count, so I'll just write I1. You can write any one of those, and I3, and I4 and I5 is the same. You can write any one of those, so it will be 7 6 6 2 and 2. Okay, now this way we have arranged the items with it in the decreasing order of the support count, and these items, this consider a set L, and these are called frequent pattern set, frequent pattern, and these are called frequent pattern. Now in the next level, what we have to do is we have to arrange the items in the order of the frequent pattern, in the descending order of the frequent pattern. That means here it will be items, okay, ordered in descending order of frequent pattern. Frequent pattern, this way, a frequent pattern. Now let's see the items here with different transaction ID and the items here, and then we have to arrange the items as for this one. Now in transaction ID 100, let's see if we have I2, we have I2, so it can be I2. Do you have I1? Yes, I1. Do you have I3? No. I4? No. I5? Yes, we have I5, then it can be I5. In transaction 200, we have I2. Yes, I2. And then do you have I1? No, then I4. Now similarly in transaction ID 300, first comes I2, then I3. Now in transaction ID 400, it comes I2, then I1, then I4, I1, then I4. In 500, it comes I1 and I3. In 600, it comes I2 and I3. Like then in 700, it comes I1 and I3. And then in 800, it comes I2, I1, I3 and then I5, and finally in 900 it comes I2, I1 and I3. Here I have arranged the items as per this one, as per the descending order of this one. First it comes I2 in this list, then I1 in this list, then I3, then I4 and then I5. That way I have arranged the items here. Now after we have listed all the items in the descending order of the frequent patterns, now according with this one we have to make a tree. We have to make a FP tree, frequent pattern tree. For that we have to create another table with items, support count and node link. For that let me go into another page. Now it will be table 3. Table 2, it will have items, support count and then node link, Let's separate this one here this way. Now the items will write in the same order of this one here: I2, I1, I3, I4, I5. Okay, let's separate it. Okay, and support count is same, 7 6 6 2 2. And then now we have to make a tree, FP tree, and for the FP tree we have to use this order set to make start a FP tree. And then we have to start with a root that is null. So let's start here. This is a null, there is a root. Now it gives I2, I1, I5. It gives I2, I1, I5. That means I2 is here, so it comes here I2, and then I1 down here, and then I5, it's down here. Okay, now this way, this is I2. And for the frequency, let me use a pencil so that it becomes easy to erase as the frequency goes up every time. So it will be 1 here, and then again for I1 it's gonna be 1. For I5 it will be 1 2. And let me connect with the branch here. Okay, then let me also connect the node link here. Okay, now the second item is I2, I4. Now it's already connected with I2. Now let's start with I2 here and I4. That means we have to make 1 here. I4, let's do, and then since I2 is repeated again, the frequency increases, it becomes 2, and I4 becomes 1. Let me connect this with the node link and this one with the branch here. Now after this one, now let me see another item. It is I2 and I3. I2, I3. I2 is again already connected, so the frequency increases here. It becomes 3. And then I3. I3 means it. Let's make another one here. One more here. I3. 2 1. Okay. Let me connect it with the branch, and let's make it node link here. Now I2, I3. Then it comes I2, I1, I4. Now I2, I2, I1, and another I4. So the frequency increases here. It becomes 4. And this becomes 2. Now for the I4, let's make 1 in between here. I4. Let's make it here. Okay. I4 is 2. And then 1. The frequency is 1, and the node will link here, and it will go here, and let us connect this one here. Okay, now after this one, now another one is I1, I3. I1, I3, we haven't started with I1, so we have to make another branching on the other side. It will be here. I1 means straight here. Let's make it here. I1, I1, and then I3. It becomes I3 again. I3 means just underneath this one there should be another one. I3 and then 1. And let's connect this one with the node link here. Okay, now another one is I2, I3. Here is already I2, so it goes up again. It becomes 5. and I3. I3, it's already connected with I3. Let's make it 2. Okay. I was there, I2, I3. Now I1, I3. Here's I1 already connected. Here's I1 already connected. So I3. It's going to be again I3. Let's increase the frequency. Just increase the frequency. 2 and 2. Now another one is I2, I1, I3, I5. I2, I1, I3, and then I5. It has to go down. That means it will be I2, the frequency will increase to 6, and then I1, the frequency will increase to 3. I3, we don't have any I3, so we have to make another I3 in between here. I3 is to 1 here, frequency 1, connect it with this one here and the node link, and it goes to I5 again. It goes to I5. So let's make another one here, down here. It becomes I5 is to 1. Now the final one, we have I2, I1, I3. I2, it goes to 7. I3 will go to 4. I3 will go to 2. Now finally, let me write all the frequency with a pen so that it's easy to see here. 2, 2, 2, 1, 1. Now here you can see the frequency and the support count same. We're linking the with the node link. It's 7 and 7, and then for I1 is 6, 4 plus 2 6, and I3 is 2, 2, 2, 6, and 1 and 1 2 for I5, I4 and I5, 1 and 1 5. This is the FP3. This is the FP3. Now after we have created the FP3, what we have to do is we have to find the conditional pattern base, conditional FP3, and FP and then frequent pattern generator. For that, we have to write the items in the reverse order of this table. So let's make another table. That will be table 4. First we have to list the items, and item in reverse order. I'll just write it here, reverse order, so that it becomes easy. Reverse order items, then it comes conditional pattern base. Conditional pattern base. Okay, it becomes conditional pattern base. Then after that, since we have to write the items in the reverse order, I'll write I5 here, I4, I3, I1, and I2. Okay, I5, the conditional pattern base of I5 is the items linking I5. There are 2 items linking I5. It is I2, I1, and I5, and I2, I1, I3, I5. So there are 2 conditional base pattern for this one. They are I2, I1, and then with a link 1, and the other one is I2, I1, I3 with the pattern base 1. Now for I4 there are two. This is I2, I1, and then I2. This will be I2 is just 1, and another one is I2, I1 with 1. This one. And for I3 there are 3, 1, 2, 3. It will be I2, I1, and it will be I2 and I1. It will be here I2 is 2, I1 is 2, and then I2, I1 is also 2. Okay, for I1 it's just I2. I1 is just I2. I2, that is 4. Now for I2 it's nothing. Now after we have created the conditional pattern base, we have to find the conditional FP3. Now the conditional FP3. Now this is the conditional FP3, and the conditional FP3 is the items repeated in both the pattern
and their summation. That means here it is I2 and I1 repeated, and it's 1 and 1, it's gonna be 2. It's gonna be I2 will be 2 and I1 will be 2. Similarly here it's just I2 repeated, so it will be just I2 is to 2. And here it is repeated, I2 is repeated 2, 2 and 2 4 times, and I1 is also repeated 2 and 2 4 times. But the thing here is I2 for I3 here is I2 I1 is repeated 2 times, and I2, this one and this one are in the same node here, so this and this can be taken together, but this is at a separate node, so this cannot be taken together. So it will be I2 will be 4 in 1, another will be I1 will be 2, and again I1 will be 1, and then I1 will be 2 here again, this way. Now for I1 it's just I2 4, so we can just write I2 4. Okay, now after we have done the conditional Fp3, what we have to do is find the Fp generated. Fp generated is the frequent pattern generated. This is the final step, frequent pattern generated. Pattern generated. This is the frequent pattern generated. Now to find the frequent pattern generator, frequent pattern is the link of conditional Fp3 with the item here, with the I5. Since I2 is occurred twice and I1 is occurred twice, so the link between I2 and I5 and I1 and I5. So the Fp generated will be, just let me separate this one here. Okay, this will be I2 I5 will be 2, and then it will be I1 I5 will be 2, and then another one will be I1 I2 I5 will be 2. Similarly for I2 and I4, it's going to be just one pattern, frequent pattern. It's I2 I4 and it will be 2. And for I3 it's gonna be different. This will link, I2 will link with I3 with 4, and then with 4 frequent patterns, and then with 2 frequent patterns, and the frequency will be 4. And I1 and I3 will link 4 because this and this summation will give 4, and I1, I2 and I3 will just link twice. Okay, it will be I2 I3 4, and I1 I3 will be 4, and then I2 I1 I3 it will be just 2, and the final one I2 will link with I1 with 4 and I1 with 4. Now from here, these are the frequent patterns generated with the then frequent pattern growth algorithm, and these are the items with 2 frequent patterns, while and then these are the items with 2 frequent patterns, while these are the items with 3 frequent patterns. That's all for this assignment. What we had to find was the frequent items repeated for each items here, and the frequent items are listed here with 2 frequent items and 3 frequent items. That's all for this video. Thank you. And for the assignment,